There is a silent tragedy playing out in the lives of good men and women. It is a tragedy not of malice, but of virtue, or at least what we have been told is virtue. It is the exhaustion of the diplomat who is always negotiating, never resting. It is the hollowness of the actor who has played a supporting role in their own life for so long that they have forgotten the sound of their own true voice. We are speaking today about the curse of being nice. Notice that I did not say the curse of being kind. There is a world of difference between niceness and kindness, a distinction as sharp as a razor's edge. Kindness is rooted in strength. It is a choice to be benevolent from a position of power and abundance. Niceness, however, is often a strategy of survival rooted in fear. It is a social camouflage we adopt to avoid conflict, to purchase affection, and to keep the world smooth and predictable. But if you are listening to this, you have likely discovered the cruel irony of this strategy. You have found that the more you give, the less you receive. The more you accommodate, the less you are respected. You have found that this shield of niceness, which was supposed to protect you from the harshness of the world, has instead become a prison cell. You feel unseen, undervalued, and simmering with a quiet, corrosive resentment. We must dismantle this persona. We must look into the mirror, not with judgment, but with the clear eyes of a strategist and the compassion of a sage, to understand why being nice is slowly ruining your life, and how to reclaim your sovereignty without losing your humanity. To understand this, we must first look at the landscape of human interaction. We walk through a gallery of masks. Most people are not navigating the world as their authentic selves. They are projecting an avatar, a curated version of themselves designed to get their needs met. For the nice guy or the nice girl, this avatar is the pleaser. The pleaser believes in a hidden law of the universe. This law states, if I hide my flaws, accommodate everyone else's needs, and never cause friction, then I will be loved, I will be safe, and I will be rewarded. This is the foundational lie. It is a lie because it assumes that human relationships are vending machines, that if you insert enough good boy or good girl coins, love and respect will fall out, but human nature does not work this way. Let us examine the specific mechanisms, the signs that reveal how this strategy backfires, and more importantly, why it happens. The first and most dangerous mechanism is what we call the covert contract. This is the unseen transaction that governs the life of the chronically nice person. The contract reads, I will do this favor for you, even though I don't want to, and in return, you must appreciate me, love me, and never leave me. The problem is that no one else signed this contract. You drafted it in the silence of your own mind. When you sacrifice your time, your energy, or your preferences for someone else, you view it as a deposit in a bank account. But the other person often views it as a gift, or worse, they don't notice it at all because you made it look effortless. When the return on investment doesn't come when they don't praise you, or when they choose someone else, or when they treat you with indifference, you feel betrayed. You think, after all I did for them, but the hard truth, the truth we must see if we are to grow, is that this was not a gift. It was a loan with high interest, and you never told the borrower the terms. This creates a deep bitterness that poisons your soul. The sage understands that true giving is done with zero expectation of return. If you cannot give without strings attached, it is better to not give at all. The second sign is the boundary vacuum. In physics, nature abhors a vacuum. In psychology, power abhors a vacuum. When you have no boundaries, when you are easygoing about everything, when you say, I don't mind, when you actually do mind, you create a space that demands to be filled. This is why nice people so often attract narcissists, controllers, and tyrants. It is not just bad luck, it is a lock and key dynamic. The controller is looking for someone to mold, and the nice person is looking for someone to direct them, someone to take charge so they don't have to face the anxiety of their own agency. We often look at the manipulator with disdain, labeling them a predator. And while their actions may be harmful, we must use the mirror protocol here. Why did the tyrant enter the gate? Because the gate was left wide open. The manipulator is often a slave to their own insecurity, needing to control others to quell their internal chaos. But the nice person is also a slave to the fear of rejection. The nice person signals, I will erase myself so you can expand. It is a dynamic of codependence. The counter move here is not to attack the tyrant, but to erect a fence, to learn the holy power of the word no. A no spoken calmly, without justification, is the most powerful assertion of existence. It tells the world, I am here, I have edges, I am not a ghost. The third mechanism is the suppression of the shadow. Carl Jung, the great mapmaker of the psyche, taught us that we all have a shadow, the repository of our darker impulses, aggression, selfishness, sexuality, the desire for power. The nice person is terrified of their shadow. They believe that any show of anger or selfishness makes them a bad person. So, they repress it. They shove these impulses into the basement of their subconscious. But the shadow does not die. It merely grows denser and colder. It begins to leak out. This is where we see passive aggression. The sarcasm, the lateness, the forgetting to do things, the sudden explosions of rage over trivial matters. When you try to be purely light, you do not eliminate the dark. You simply lose control over it. People can sense this. Humans have an ancient intuition. When we meet someone who is perfectly nice, perfectly smiling, perfectly agreeable, our instinct creates a warning signal. We feel a dissonance. We know that no human is that pure. We suspect a trap. We wonder, what do they want? This leads to the fourth sign, the loss of respect. There is a harsh reality in the dynamics of power and desire. We do not respect what is easily conquered. We do not respect what has no spine. If you agree with everything I say, you offer me no value. You are a mirror that only reflects, never corrects. Consider the archetype of the wise counselor or the trusted friend. They are valuable because they tell the truth, even when it is bitter. The nice person lies to keep the peace. When you ask, do I look good in this, or was my idea good? The nice person says, yes, automatically. This is not kindness. It is cowardice. It creates a reality distortion field. Over time, people stop trusting your word because they know your word is subservient to your fear of conflict. To regain respect, you must be willing to be disagreeable. You must be willing to let a moment become awkward in service of the truth. You must realize that friction is necessary for traction. Without friction, you are just sliding through life, making no impact. The fifth mechanism is the exhaustion of performance. Maintaining the persona of the nice guy or good girl is incredibly energy intensive. You are constantly scanning the room, reading micro-expressions, trying to anticipate the needs of others before they even speak them. You are playing a game of 4D chess, where the goal is to ensure no one is ever upset with you. This leads to burnout. It leads to a state where you feel you have lost yourself because you have become a chameleon, changing colors to match every environment. You look in the mirror and you don't know who is looking back. Is it the person your mother wanted? The person your partner wants? The person your boss needs? Where are you? The weakness here, the internal void, is a lack of self-validation. The nice person outsources their self-worth. They need the external world to stamp their ticket and say, "You are valid." This is a perilous way to live because it places your emotional stability in the hands of others who are often fickle, blind, or struggling with their own demons. Now, we must pivot. We have looked at the trap. We have seen the bars of the cage. Now, we must turn the camera around and look at the prisoner. Why are you like this? This is not an accusation. It is an excavation. Usually, this pattern is woven in childhood. Perhaps you learned that to be loved, you had to be useful. Perhaps you had a volatile parent, and you learned that by being quiet, smiling, and predicting their moods, you could avoid the storm. You learned to be a peacekeeper to survive. This was a brilliant strategy for a child. It kept you safe. It protected you. But you are not a child anymore. The war is over, but you are still wearing the armor and walking in the crouch. You are applying a survival mechanism to a thriving environment, and it is suffocating you. You likely carry a core belief that says, "I am not enough, just as I am. I must purchase my place in this group." This is the shadow of the nice person, vanity. It is a subtle, inverted form of narcissism to believe that you can control how everyone perceives you, that you can manipulate reality so that everyone likes you. It is a refusal to accept the reality that you can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there will still be people who hate peaches. So, how do we escape? How do we move from the nice person to the integrated individual? We do not swing to the other extreme. We do not become the jerk or the villain. That is just another mask, another reaction to fear. The opposite of the nice guy is not the bad boy. The opposite of the nice guy is the real man or the real woman. The path forward requires the integration of the shadow. You must make friends with your capacity for aggression. You must realize that your anger is not a demon, it is a sentry. Anger is the emotion that alerts you when a boundary has been violated. When you suppress anger, you fire your own security guard. You must invite that sentry back to the gate. You must learn to say, "I am feeling angry because my time is being wasted," or "I am feeling resentful because I am doing more than my share." This does not destroy relationships, it purifies them. It burns away the dead wood of false politeness and leaves the solid trunk of honest connection. This brings us to the concept of selective trust. The nice person trusts everyone blindly because they want to be trusted. The wise person trusts selectively. They observe. They watch what people do, not just what they say. They understand that not everyone has earned the right to access their inner garden. You must visualize your energy not as an infinite public resource, but as a walled garden. A garden without walls is not a garden, it is a public wasteland where anyone can trample the flowers. You build walls not to keep everyone out, but to create a gate where you decide who comes in. This transition will be terrifying. The first time you say no to a request you usually accept, your heart will pound. You will feel a wave of guilt. You will wait for the lightning bolt to strike. You will wait for them to yell, to leave, to hate you. And here is the truth. Some of them might. When you stop playing the role of the compliant servant, those who benefited from your servitude will be upset. They will say, "You've changed." They will try to guilt you back into the box. Let them. This is the fire of purification. The people who fall away when you set boundaries are the people who were only there for what they could take from you. Their departure is not a loss. It is a liberation. It is the trash taking itself out. But the right people, the people who value you for your soul and not your utility, they will adjust. They will respect the new firmness in your voice. They will appreciate the honesty of your no because it makes your yes meaningful. When a nice person says yes, it means I'm too afraid to say no. When a sovereign person says yes, it means I choose this with my whole heart. That is the only yes that matters. We must also address the void of self-worth. You must begin to treat yourself with the same solicitous care you have lavished on strangers. You must date yourself. You must negotiate with yourself. If you are tired, you must allow yourself to rest, not because you earned it, but because you are a living creature that requires rest. You must kill the idea that you are a utility. You are not a hammer to be used, you are the carpenter. Ultimately, leaving behind the nice guy syndrome is a spiritual maturation. It is the acceptance that you cannot control the minds of others. You cannot force them to love you by being perfect. You can only present your true self flaws, edges, shadows, and light, and let the world arrange itself around you. There is a profound peace in this. It is the peace of dropping the heavy shield. It is the peace of realizing that you do not need to smile if you are not happy. You do not need to agree if you do not believe. You do not need to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. There is a concept in Taoism called wu-wei effortless action. The nice person is in a state of constant, strained effort, paddling upstream against the current of their own nature. The integrated person flows with the river. They are dangerous when they need to be, gentle when they want to be, and always, always real. So, as you walk out into the world today, observe the mask. Feel it sitting heavy on your face. And when the moment comes when someone asks for something you cannot give, or when someone crosses a line, try just once to drop the mask. Speak the truth. Endure the discomfort. You will find that the world does not end. In fact, for the first time in a long time, you will feel that your life is actually beginning. Walk with your eyes open. See the shadow, but do not fear it. It is part of you, and it is the part that gives you the strength to be truly kind, rather than just merely nice.